YMCA's Independent Living Program or Lifestyle Program. And we're working together as a team, oftentimes to help support and make sure these youth are reaching their goals. Let's see what else here is in the circle. We're providing clothing and essentials. So for those who are not familiar with Treehouse, we have the Treehouse store. It used to be called the Warehouse. And so the store is in our 2100 building. It is a store where students can shop 6 times a year for the clothes they need for school, or for life, or for work, or for jobs. We get lots of donations in the store. Students, and youth, and caregivers, and everyone are able to access it. And it's a great support. I talked about changing placements earlier. A lot of times when youth are changing placements, they might be losing a lot of the clothes they have, or the belongings they have. So I've leaned on this Treehouse store quite a bit in providing the youth what they need to survive and make it to school. You don't want to go to school if you don't have any clean clothes. It can be a real barrier. So Treehouse store is there to help that. We also are engaging in using experiences at Treehouse. I think that's a great thing that we do. We're reaching out to the community to find different experiences for our youth to participate in, whether it be job shadow events, whether it be just meeting with different mentors, or just exploring different careers, helping them explore different careers. We are reaching out to the community quite a bit. Is there anything else?
Jump in at any point, Kevin, but I'm not sure exactly where you were because I was listening to the recording.
Oh, that's all right. Let's see, what else? How else are we supporting these? Just-in-time funding. So another program that we have with Treehouse is just-in-time funding. It used to be called Little Wishes a year or two ago, but now we call it just-in-time funding. So it's for those essentials the youth needs. Youth's, on the playing sports in high school, and they're going to need some money for the fees, or for uniforms, or for supplies. Just-in-time funding is there to step in and provide that. If a youth, and a lot of students are now taking, or all students are taking online classes. But beforehand, if a youth needed a laptop for their school, and just-in-time funding will be able to step in and remove those barriers that are stopping them from achieving their goals. And that's sort of how I look at just-in-time funding. The youth has a goal, and just-in-time funding is there to help support that youth in their goals. So speaking of the student I was talking about earlier, Paris, last year, maybe 2 years ago now, she studied abroad in Japan. And there's a lot of things that she didn't have that she needed in order to go over to Japan and study over there for a semester. So just-in-time funding was able to, we were able to get everything. We used other community supports to get some of the stuff that she needed, but just-in-time funding was able to fill in all those holes that Paris needed for all the supplies while she was over there.
Did you already talk about driver's ed? Okay, I can talk about that. So another awesome program that we had created, which is state funded, correct, Kevin, right? State, not government, is our driver's assistance program. And this was really exciting to get started because a lot of our students have this interest, like most young people, to learn how to drive, create some independency and some skills that will take them as adults, right? And we are able to provide that, which is really exciting. There are different eligibility requirements depending on students' cases and what type of foster care that they're enrolled in, state, federal, tribal, but we can provide driver's ed funding for them either through our driver's assistance program or through Little Wishes. Oh, I almost said Little Wishes because you had said it earlier, just-in-time funding. And if some students are eligible and can, then we can help with their auto insurance as well. That one's a little bit trickier and the funding is a little limited, but that is an exciting piece that we have been able to provide for students, which is just really exciting, especially for caregivers when they're like, how do I afford auto insurance for a young teenager when it can be so expensive? I don't know what else you have covered in this piece. Holiday magic? No. We can kind of move on past this, but I think holiday magic is an important piece. it's our longest standing program. It's kind of how we had started, was being able to give gifts for young kiddos and young adults experiencing foster care around the holidays. And we still do that to this day, which is really a fun time of year, and it's exciting.
And then the last part is why we do this. You know, like we talked about earlier in our mission statement, giving kids in foster care a childhood in the future. That's why we do it. We do all these things, you know, helping our students reach their goal of getting a diploma or GED. And while they're doing that, we're also working with them, planning for what's next in their life, whether or not they want to go and get a credential or a degree or work. And doing this builds stronger communities. We're making sure they have stable housing, helping them to provide them, support them as they get stable housing and a living wage job. All right, graduation success. This is the program that Janelle and I are both involved in. So, you know, youth who are experiencing foster care often lack a network of significant adults that would support them as they transition into adulthood. So it can be really difficult. And I think that's where graduation success steps in. We partner with them, help them engage and invest in their education and their future. So the idea behind graduate success is that it's youth-centered, it's youth-driven. So there's about, we call it in grad success, our role as specialists was about 60 of us in about 300 different schools throughout the state right now. So we're all over the place, which is great. And the program model. So the first thing we typically look at is, we call it the ABC, is the attendance, behavior, and coursework. So we're meeting with youth in the school, in the community, you know, whatever works best for them. Phone calls, Zooms, FaceTimes right now. And we're talking about their attendance. We're talking about their course performance. We're checking in how their grades are doing each week. You know, and we're also not just in communication with them, but we're in communication with the staff in the schools. A lot of us, thankfully, like I've been at the same school for 5 years, so you really get to know the staff and the teachers of the school, and you're really able to connect with them and help the teachers support the students as well, which is great. So the main part of our job is it's student-centered goal setting. You know, where we're with youth to help them they're creating goals, and we're working with them to help support those goals. So we're creating a plan for high school. They're creating a plan for high school graduation and beyond. We're building with them, we're building problem solving and self-advocacy skills. That's a big piece, you know, as you're growing up, building that self-advocacy skill, to be able to advocate for yourself, for your needs, and make sure that people are there supporting those needs that you have. When we're working with them, we're checking those ABCs, we're connecting them to resources they might need. If they're struggling in a class, we're connecting them. Treehouse has a bunch of volunteer tutors, so we're connecting them to tutors. If they're behind in credits, we are working with credit retrieval. We're also looking at college and career prep programs as well. We are, as we're getting to know these students and as we're working with them on a weekly basis, we're recognizing and developing the support systems around them. You know, we're gonna look at some of the tools that we use to help us identify and help the students identify all those supports, all those people, all those support systems that are around them, that love them, that care for them, that want to see them be successful. We're resolving educational barriers like transition, like school transitions. You know, moving from one school to another can be a really difficult experience, and just, you know, the youth to put in all this work, and we want to make sure all that credit is going with them from school to school. You know, if they're leaving in between quarters or semesters, and we want to make sure that all that work they've done, they're getting credit for that. One of my favorite parts is we're connecting them with career exploration and job opportunities. And we're going to watch a video here in a minute about some of the job opportunities and job shadowing events that we've had. But I've had a lot of youth who've had a lot of really cool career goals. So I've got to help them look for these job opportunities and get to go on with these job shadows with them, which has been a lot of fun. I think it's one of the more fun parts of the job. I had a youth who wanted to be an interior decorator. So we found a architecture firm in Pioneer Square here in Seattle, and got to spend the day going around and seeing how they pick the different materials for designing this amazing mansion. And it's like looking at all these beautiful homes and just talking to the different interior designers and architectures and seeing how they work together. And we had sit in a meeting where they're pitching to a client a new idea for a building they're going to build. So you're just getting really to see what that job is really like. I know Janelle and I both had students who wanted to be tattoo artists at one point. So we got to go to a tattoo studio in Fremont, and all the students got to learn how to create a tattoo. They got to practice designing their own tattoo. And we watched a Treehouse employee get a tattoo. It was awesome. I had students who wanted to work in the construction field, so we've gone and explored that. And my dad was a cabinet maker. My first job was working in his shop, so it brought back a lot of just like great memories for me being in a warehouse filled with process tools and seeing how things are made. It's really cool. Let's see, just-in-time funding, we talked about earlier. It's another really important aspect to the graduation success program model. But the big takeaway at this program model, it's very student-focused. The students create their goals and work with them to support them in their goals, whatever those goals may be. Janelle, is there anything you think that I missed? Want to add?
You did a great job.
Nice.
Very multifaceted, lots of moving pieces and all the thing, but
Yeah.
I think if I had to like succinctly break it down as like relationship based, like building relationships with these kids and knowing that it's not just about education and that there's a lot that goes into them doing well in their education. So really knowing them holistically. Yeah. Cool. All right. Now I want to invite you guys to chat or even raise your hand if you want to speak. But why do you think student-centered planning is important? So I'd love to hear any answers that you guys have.
The children feel empowered. They feel empowered and they're able to, give their viewpoint of where they believe they should go in life. And as a foster youth, it's hard because you feel like you don't have a place. And so being able to, have your own ideas to map out your plan, because you've been through a trauma, you've been through a lot, and you know that you're resilient and you want to do things in life. So being able to have your own voice out,
Yeah, that's so good. Thank you, Sheila.
I think youth in general are so often told what to do that it's actually a learning of how to plan for oneself and how to have your own ideas matter and move beyond being told how or why or what you're supposed to do, and particularly for foster youth who are told constantly what to do, how to behave and so on. I think this model is really inspiring that, you give the opportunity back to them to drive their own lives. So.
Thank you, Robin. Yeah, students and young people experiencing foster care get told all the time what to do. A lot of decisions are outside them. Any other ideas? Don't feel like you have to speak, but yeah, drop it in the chat. Thank you, Margaret. They are the experts on their own lives, and we are just guides to where they want to go. Yes, they are the experts. Well, you arrive to more authentic solutions faster while also growing skills in leadership. Yes, advocacy and discussion. Yeah, that was so well put. I love that. I'll give it another second. If people have other ideas, keep dropping them in. I love to see them. Oh, I think I hear somebody. Wow. And then I bring these in. Whoa, that really went fast. So these are some reasons kind of why we think student-centered planning is important. And I think a lot of them you've already touched on, but provides youth the opportunity for their voices to be heard and to create personal and meaningful goals. Like you were saying, we'd get to more authentic goals faster. I think it's going backwards now. Apologies. All right, build self-determination. Helps youth identify their needs and the activities that they hope to participate in one day that comes truly from them and not from anybody else. It helps youth identify people that they can count on. So again, Kevin kind of spoke to that of really trying to help them realize and connect with like who is their support system? Do they have one? And sometimes they might think that they don't, but even having just a couple people can be really helpful. Anything to add, Kevin?
Awesome. So we talked about providing, giving youth experiences and finding out when we talk to them and speak with them about what their goals are. When these events pop up, we will know these students really well. We know what their goals are, and we'll be able to provide them with these really cool opportunities. So this opportunity here, I had a number of students who wanted a career in the culinary world. So Tom Douglas is a chef and restaurateur here in Seattle. So he took the time to, he wanted to partner with Treehouse and work with some of our youth and provide them some of the skills that they might need to begin to work in the culinary field. So this is a video of 4 Treehouse youth and Tom Douglas. He invited them into his, he has a kitchen in Seattle called the Hot Stove Society, I think, where he does cooking classes. So he invited those youth to come in and cook with them, and then we all ate a wonderful meal. So let's take a minute and watch this short video.
Trying to get a little bit of that sear on there, but that's not, you can only get that if you let them sit for a minute. I've got my salad, white wine.
We cooked an amazing dinner. I learned how to cut a chicken. Never done that before.
Think chicken and it's like, oh, chicken breast with salt and pepper on it, boring. But no, there's like a bunch of different ways to cook a bunch of different things, and so it's really exciting.
Some of them have never touched a chicken before. Some of them have never touched a chef's knife before. I just think it's just important to share that life skill. It's like balancing a checkbook. If you can't roast a chicken, how are you going to balance a checkbook?
Got to learn how to cook chicken properly. I learned how to cook stir fry the right way and cook with Tom Douglas. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
You have to find out what your end goal is to get through these tougher times, these areas where you're not as comfortable. So that's what I tell them, and that's what I like about Treehouse, is that it's the same thing. They're just there to support.
Treehouse has opened so many doors for me. It's crazy. Like, I told them I wanted to be in culinary. And Tom Douglas, like.
Hopefully in the near future, I plan to have different restaurants. I kind of want to do the same thing he does, where he like different foods, like burger joints, taco joints.
It's really made me realize how easily attainable this dream is. Like, it's not just a dream anymore. Like, I'm actually making my way there now.
It's not just boning out a chicken, right? So I think that's what they learned, is that there's a bigger world out there, both in food and your dinner, but also in your community.
I hope you remember this experience, especially when you're having hard times, and know that anything's possible. And Treehouse is always in your corner. So am I. I already told you, you're stuck with me.
you starting to get hungry?
How pretty is that?
Thank you all for having grace with me and Zoom, because I didn't mean to like skip around on the video. I was like, I'm gonna go to that chat, somebody's talking, then it bounced around. But thank you, Sheila, it is very powerful. I love watching that video. It's so exciting to see kids light up and have the opportunity to have experiences that are in line with their interests.
Yeah, and this was a great opportunity for all the youth involved. And it turned into more opportunities, which is really cool. I think most of these youth all these youth actually appeared on the news with Tom Douglas as well. And Tom invited some of the youth also back to help him teach a class as well. So it was really cool. And I can't play this video without plugging Paris is currently, I said, a college student. She has an Instagram, Baes Kitchen, BAES.kitchen, where she cooks food in her dorm and sells it to college students. So she provides a menu every week and has students order the food they want. And she's making some money following her dreams right now. So it's really cool. And it's great to see that they've been able to partner with each other. And she's been able to reach out to him and ask when she has questions and be able to ask questions about like what he thinks she should do. So it's been a really cool experience and a relationship that's been formed.
All over that. All right, so tools. So this is our student-centered plan tools that we're going to go through, trying to do it kind of in an overview because we are aware of time and we want to allow you time to kind of interact with some of these. So the tools we're going to go through are our student map, community integration tool, our sociogram, our action plan, and then self-advocacy tool.
So before I start with the student map, there was a word we were supposed to put in the chat, which is now in the chat that we were supposed to say a while ago, branches. So here's one of the tools we use, student map. We're gonna sort of fly through these because there's not much time left. I'm gonna give you guys a minute to look at them. So basically this is a great place to start working with students. You know, we talk about their goals. You see the top right, you know, we help they identify what their goal is. And we talk about the different steps that they're gonna need to get there. So it helps capture the student's hope. And for us, it helps build an awareness of what their interests are and what their needs are. And then as we talk about these different things on this form, we begin to understand what some of their strengths are, which is a great way just to get to know the students. And it also allows us to see some areas where we can help support them.
Awesome. Next is our action plan, and this kind of just breaks things down kind of from that goal, more of a to-do list, so that it encourages their own self-evaluation of like, are you doing the things that you said you will do? So put down your goals, any obstacles that they foresee that they might run into in trying to achieve that goal, their plans to overcome those obstacles. So really trying to kind of make a roadmap of where they're going and how that's going to play out. And then also like a who, what, when. Like, who are you going to check in with maybe? When are you going to get some of these items done? And kind of just an ability to kind of visualize and see what their action to-do list plan is.
Next one's sociogram. So this is another one that's, I think, great. It helps us identify and helps the student also identify who can be a source of support for that student. So in the middle, we look at love. So who does the student love? We help they identify like who does they love in their life, whether it be, you know, caregivers, parents, friends, relatives, whatever. Then we look at who they do things with. A lot of times that's like classmates, teachers, friends, and then who they know. Like what, I mean, who do they know? What sort of other, this is where Treehouse might fall in. So I know my education specialist, Kevin, and I know my my life set career counselor, and I know my independent living manager, and I know these other different job people. So it helps give us an idea of like the team around the student. So when we do need to meet together as a team, or when we need to help support the student, we know who to reach out to, and it helps the student identify who it is that they can count on.
Our community integration tool, as you can see, it's like years from now, living situations, social leisure activities, transportation needs, opportunities, what makes me feel empowered or defeated. Often using this tool with my students, it's really kind of planning ahead and like having any conversations about their future and ideas that they have for careers, or like sometimes students will be talking and they're like, I want to be a YouTuber, I'm going to be a millionaire, and I want to have like this type of car. I really like, this is my dream to have my own house. And sometimes it's nice to kind of plan this out and see what that looks like. And they can break down like what transportation needs do I have to have this type of job, or to live in this type of city, or to have these social leisure activities that I want to do, just so that it's a little bit more realistic for them to see on paper. But then also allowing them to see kind of a pathway and a plan that if I want this to be my end goal career, or where I want to live, like a city, what do I kind of need to do to set up my life, and what is my community integration going to look like to get there?
Self-advocacy tools. This is great. I mean, being able to advocate for yourself is so important, and it's such a great tool to use. It helps make expectations clear. It helps the student make their expectations clear on what it is they want to advocate for. I find this can be a very helpful tool before we enter a lot of big meetings the student might be going to, whether that be an IEP meeting with their school staff, or as a youth in foster care. For those who aren't aware, they have what's called a 17 and a half meeting. Whereas before they turn 18, they have a meeting with their social worker and their team, and they discuss whether or not that youth is going to continue to, or going to enroll in extended foster care, or whether they're going to exit care. So I think just having these tools that are available for them to help them make their expectations really clear on what it is they want and what their goals are is really important. This is a great tool to help them do that.
All right, so those are our tools. We are at 11:49. So how much time do you think, Kevin? Like 5 minutes? That way we have 5 minutes to come back, or not even that?
Let's go 7 minutes. Is that enough time?
I want to allow time for you all to have questions.
Okay, 5 minutes works.
All right, Joanna, can you work your magic on the back end? I saw Joanna had dropped the link of our tools, so you can check those out. Maybe just pick one and then share with some people just for a quick minute of like an idea that you might have, or how you would use this tool with a young person.
I think everyone should be assigned into a room, and it looks like most people joined, but if you're not, let me know, because I see some people still showing in this list, but they're also supposedly in rooms, so.
Okay, I just came back. I had 2 people in my group, but they weren't speaking, so I wasn't sure if they could hear me or not, or what was happening.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Let me see if I can sign you to a different room.
Okay, thank you.
Joanna.
Okay.
no pressure for anybody else. If you're really like, I'm not in a space today that I want to be in a small group, like we value that. So do what you need to do. Or another option, you can always speak to us about it too, right now. Like, I don't want to, but I want to talk to you.
Well, I wasn't sure exactly what we were supposed to be sharing in the groups. I got kicked out of Zoom and it took me forever to get back in. And I left a message in chat, but I'm not sure what's happening. I don't know if it's my system, but I was on my Zoom from my laptop because I feel like it's a better experience when you're in a setting like this, but I'm on my phone now. So it's a little different.
Yeah.
So I don't think I can see everyone. So it's just a little bit different.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that happened and that you got booted out and it took a minute to get back. And I agree. Anytime I'm on Zoom on my phone, I'm like, oh, this is not exactly what I want.
Exactly. But I was wondering, Kevin, could you share the Instagram name for Paris? I'm curious. I would love to see her page.
I just put it in the chat. Days Kitchen, I believe. Let me make sure. Let me check Instagram real quick to make sure I got it right. I meant
I think that is right. Yeah, it pulled up.
Okay, cool.
Oh wow, that's pretty impressive for a dorm room. Wow, that is so impressive.
Yeah, I agree. I love it. It's amazing. She's also been starting to do some events as well. There was some events in Jerkins Park here in Seattle. So she set up a stand and sold some sandwiches there and sold out instantly. So it was, really cool just to sort of follow her along on this journey.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Ironically, this week, I have my organization is Phenomenal She. And I have a summer program happening right now. And this week is culinary arts. So I'm actually here at a kitchen with the girls. They're making a dish today. And so it's just, so that's why I was really interested in it.
Yeah, that's awesome. What are they making today?
So today they're doing like an oven dish. It has sausage and vegetables. So like peppers, onion, red potatoes, and fresh green beans. And then they did a cauliflower dish on the side that has like a red sauce with it and freshly grated Parmesan cheese on top.
Sounds delicious. Yeah.
Yeah, it smells really good.
I'm sure. What did you say the name of your organization was again?
It's Phenomenal She.
Okay.
And we're based in Federal Way.
Nice. That's awesome. You guys, I don't even know where everyone's from. I guess it would have been hard to ask where everyone's coming from, but cool.
All right, you guys just let me know when we want to recall people from the rooms. I think it gives them about 60 seconds to close a conversation.
What do you think, Kevin? I think kind of now.
Now, yeah.
Okay.
Well, while they rejoin, I guess I can ask this in questions, but I'm curious. We're looking for tutors, STEM tutors right now. So I wanted to know, like, in your roles, like, how has it changed, or how are you guys doing different things differently with distant learning?
Man, everything is different. So our roles, like, we are doing more video chats and like phone call check-ins, sometimes text, which is like not ideal to kind of really check in with how they're doing, but we really want to value how our students want to check in. So it's really dependent on each individual student. But for academic supports, Treehouse has kind of had to pivot as well of like what our tutoring looks like, because we do have a tutoring program to connect students to tutors. So that's also mostly happening via Zoom and having them allow them to meet and share screens so that they could work on their or social studies or whatnot. Also, like I think our partnerships within schools has had to become even stronger to really touch base and figure out like how to best support students. Like in particular, some of the students that I'm thinking of are students that have IEPs or 504s and really making sure that those are being attended to. And then also my ELL students and making sure that like there are language supports so that they are able to stay on top of their work as well. Because this last spring I had several students really struggle.
Okay. And where are you, what tutors are you connecting them to, or where do you find your tutors?
I don't know where Jesse finds our tutors. Kevin, do you know?
I don't know. So our tutors are volunteer based.
Okay.
But I'm not sure how they advertise and
Okay.
bring in tutors though. But it's all volunteer based. And right now they are meeting, obviously online. And before it was in-person tutoring where the students and the tutor would set up a schedule on their own. And we'd just be sort of there to help facilitate any communication that needed to be there. But now it is all online.
Okay. Thank you guys for sharing.
Yeah, I think that was a really great question.
Do you know Jesse's email? I don't. Could be a good person if you wanted to reach out and see how Treehouse is reaching their tutors. That could be a good person to reach out to.
Okay, awesome. Sarah, but I can check and try to drop in the chat. So it looks like everybody's back. We want to be cognizant of time. We have exactly 2 minutes. So we appreciate you guys hanging with us for this last hour. Our very last slide, other than questions, is really just to plug Launch Success is our latest kind of program that we have been working on. We saw the need for students to need more support after high school, that graduation success and graduating from high school was not enough. Like the majority of students who graduate from high school and move out into the world have a hard time anyway, let alone experiencing foster care on top of that. So really wanting to provide support. So we have our Launch Success coaches that continue to do student-centered planning and goal setting with them, and really lean into encouraging their growth in self-advocacy and knowing their supports and knowing where to find those answers and how to navigate systems and learn adult living skills. And then last is questions, and the Treehouse, our Twitter handle and Instagram handle, if that's your jam, those are there. I think that app and on the website for WOVA, that there are opportunities to be able to reach out and have questions there. I apologize that we don't have more time for more questions here. That was not our intention, but we can have some time. I don't know if people have extra time, but feel free to stay on. I can stay on, but yeah, thank you. And if you have questions, feel free to ask.
Sounds like there's no questions. I was going to say, yeah, thanks for everyone who was here and talked to us. So I really appreciate everyone being here. Thank you.
Winding down, 8 participants. If any of you have questions, feel free to ask. If not, it was great to have you, see you. Also about the tools, if you want to share, you could share those too. Now we'll hang out. I wish I could put those tunes on, Kevin.
Jams. Space jams.
Space Jam is your chance to go dance. Space Jam.
All right, it looks like everyone's done, so I'm just gonna close out the meeting.
Sounds great.
Great.
All right, have a good afternoon.
Bye.
Yeah. Thanks.